Hello there. So I'm aware that a lot of people, when they start making YouTube videos, do
get to know me tag or a YouTube newbie tag.
But I didn't really want to do something that was like that exactly. I kind of wanted to do something a tiny bit different. I remember sometime a while ago people did,
50 things in my room and 50 things about me.
So I thought I'd do a sort of mashup of the two and do 20 interesting things in my room or 20 things that I really like in my room, and therefore 20 kind of things about me. It's nothing, revolutionary or groundbreaking. It's just something a tiny bit different than just sitting here and telling you facts about me, because I don't want to do that. But I like things in my room. They comfort me and they surround me every day and they're a part of who I am. So I thought I would just do that. So this is 20 lovely things in my room and 20 things about myself. So I guess I'll just show you the things. So thing number one, this chest, which is where I keep all my letters from my pen pals and my grandmother. This is where I keep them all. It's quite full. I will probably do a video with my pen pal eventually about having pen pals, but I want to keep the art of letter writing alive, and I love writing and handwritten letters. It's one of the best things in life to ever receive, and I really wish more people did it. But yeah, I like to have pen pals and I really love to write and receive letters. Item number two is just this teeny tiny portrait of my mother when she was young. This photo looks way older than it is as well, but I think it's just faded. It's not as old as it looks, and it's just really tiny and cute. I don't even remember where I found it or where I got it, but it just stands on my bookshelf because I like trinkets on my bookshelf and I like to have it there. Item number three is this. I don't know if people find this hideous or adorable, but I find her beautiful. I think she's so glamorous. This, according to the crafty lady who I bought this from, is called an attic animal or attic toy. I guess because it's kind of, vintagey, but it very obviously looks handmade, which it was, and she's actually covered in a layer of like sugar and cinnamon. She's got real lashes at the bottom here. It's super cute. I think she's really sweet, and she looks like a super fancy kitty, and she's pink. She has pink fur and she's super cute. And I got her at craft fair. Item number four is this lovely candle holder, which I don't use as a candle holder. I use it as a storage place for beautiful and obscure words that I like and find. Just find obscure or beautiful sounding words in English that I really like and don't want to forget. Either beautiful and obscure words, and by obscure I probably mean like archaic words, so they're not really used in our language as often now, but they used to be. And then I've got, I don't know if this is one or two items, but they're ships, so I'm counting them as one item. This is a ship in a bottle my mother and father brought me back from Hamburg, and this is a ship from Spain. I have a fascination with ships and like pirates, and one of my favorite books of all time is Treasure Island, even though I have a deathly phobia of the sea and ocean and everything in it. So that's a bit of a contradiction. I don't know what fascinates me about them, just the kind of, I think they're just beautiful structures, I guess, and maybe there's some kind of romantic idea in the back of my mind attached to it, Even though I would die at sea, I am horrified of the sea and water and deep dark water and the things in it. I'm just convinced I was like a pirate in a past life and I drowned, and therefore I have a deathly fear of water now. Clearly that's the only explanation. Item number six, beautiful lamp. One of my best friends brought me back from Morocco. It is aesthetically pleasing. That's why she picked it, because it's pink and green. And it just, obviously, I just thought it was one of those, just an interesting trinket I have, and a little taste of Morocco because I've never been to Morocco or anywhere near it. Now, item number seven, I love, but I know a lot of people hate. It is this guy. He's adorable. It's my little clown. He's the cutest. I found him at a fair. Like, it was a man standing by a church selling stuff from his house. But this was at a fair in a town called Leixlip here in Dublin. I saw this little guy and he was the sweetest thing and I couldn't leave him there. And he gave it to me for €1. €1. And it was like the best thing I ever bought. And I absolutely love clowns. That is one thing that a lot of people are horrified of, but I just adore them. I don't find them scary, even scary clowns. I think they're all just interesting looking and super adorable and fascinating, and I love them so much. And I've been obsessed with circuses. I tried to run away with one when I was a child, or in my mind that's what I was doing when I ran away on my scooter. I always loved the circus and clowns especially. And item 8 is this hippo. This is Bigus. That means nothing and it's a weird name, I know, but this guy is one of my oldest toys, if not the oldest toy that I own. My memory, or maybe it was just a thing, my parents told me that my dad won this guy in one of those claw games in the hospital when I was born. Or he was bought for me very shortly after I was born in Latvia. And I wouldn't be able to fall asleep without him and without this tag. And if you can see, it's been stitched on multiple times. And that is because when I was tiny and needed to fall asleep, I would just sit there doing this until it would rip. And my parents would have to sew it on every night or else I wouldn't be able to sleep. What a weird child. And to this day, when I read like books, I have to do that to the pages as I read them. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I'm very like touchy-feely when it comes to things, when I'm holding things, I guess. But with books especially, I notice I have to smell them, I have to do this to the page. That's why I despise Kindles and I will never own one and I could never own one. But yeah, Bigus, one of my oldest friends. I think this is item 9. I don't know, I'm not good with numbers. Item 9 it's 2 bookmarks, but let's count it as one item. Bookmark from Harry Potter Studios in London. I went this year in September for my sister's 16th birthday with her. It was our first sister trip, and because I'm so poor and broke, I kind of was joking that, oh great, the only thing I'll be able to afford would be a bookmark. And when we got there, I did save up a little bit, so I could afford a bit more than a bookmark, but first thing I did was go see if they had bookmarks and picked these guys up, which were pretty pricey, not gonna lie, but I read books every day and I collect bookmarks. And it's Harry Potter from Harry Potter Studios. It's a good investment. Item 10 is the only award I received in secondary school, which is the Art Award. In case you can't see, there's paintbrushes there. Gifted to me by my art teacher, who was a lovely lady, who was the only teacher who was ever decent to me and never once, you know, hated me or yelled at me or made me feel inferior or picked on my appearance, like, ever. I hated school. Hated it. And even though I was always a good student, I did my homework, you know, I wasn't a troublemaker, I, you know, was never rude to the teachers or anything like that, but because I was an emo kid and was, you know, an alternative kid, I had short, choppy red hair, like hair dyed bright red, or different shades of red. I went through like all the shades of red. And short red hair and an eyebrow piercing. And they hated me. It was the worst. And I did always want to go to like art school. My mom's an artist and, you know, there's that whole thing of like, oh, I got it from my mom. So I was always the artsy, creative kid, and of course I really liked art, and one of the subjects I took in school was art to save me from the misery and pain of other subjects. And this teacher never once had a problem with me. She really respected me, and she could see that I was really passionate about doing my artwork. And she did hope for me to go to art college, but that was something I decided I will do later on in life and focus on theatre and English for now. But the only award I got was arts. It just says Art Award, Jenny Olenek. Item 11, I believe, is this Victorian, I am told, teacup. I collect teacups, and this beautiful one came in a set of 5 or 6. The man who sold me this told me they were Victorian, and I don't know if I can believe him. He said they're over 100 years old, and they definitely look old. They're very aged. There's a lot of marks and cracks, you know, in the porcelain. It's very thin. I've never seen a teacup like this that's modern. And I don't know how to date old items, but there's definitely kind of marks at the bottom of each one. But yeah, I collect teacups also. I collect a lot of things. Bookmarks, masquerade masks, teacups, obscure words, owls, Alice in Wonderland, or Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the book editions. And that's all I can think of right now. Yeah. Item 11 is this pink garter. I went for this one because I like this color. Can you tell? No, not at all. No, you can't tell that I like pink. Got in another kind of craft shop. It's handmade. I really like lingerie, and I hope to invest in a lot of it. Number one, because I hope to become a burlesque performer, and I'm a performer in training. I was always a dancer and performer, but then I stopped performing for many years, and I always wanted to do burlesque, and I took it up this year. So this is, you know, I hope to use it on stage, and I hope to invest in a lot of beautiful lingerie because I really love lingerie, and because I will need it for the stage. This vintage mirror, I found it at a vintage fair that we have in Dublin City. It's my favorite one. It's a kind of bar club that they turn into a market every Saturday, and it's amazing. So many people come there, and there's like, you know, authentic vintage, reproduction vintage items, there's like vintage items that are, you know, from the 90s and 80s vintage. And this beautiful mirror is the first one of this kind of shape that I own. I know Dita Von Teese, for example, collects mirrors like this, and I bought it of a very, very lovely lady who also sold me a pair of white gloves and a vintage hat. It was lovely. I liked her a lot. This is a medal. The art award and this award are like the only ones I really have. I received this when I did a theater program when I was 16, and I wrote a play, and I got to be the stage manager for all the other productions, and it was a fantastic time. I got to miss like 3 or 4 months of school. As well as missing 3 or 4 months of school, I was training with theater makers to very bite-sized stuff for teenagers, but that was when I had that, you know, revelation moment of, do you know what? I've performed on stage my whole life, and I'm suffering from anxiety a lot right now, so this is what I am supposed to be doing. That was the moment when I realized I want to be a theater maker, not just a performer. So that was when I was 16, and it was a very good and proud moment in my life. And after that program, we received certificates, and I got this for writing and staging a play, and it was magical, and I really liked it, and I treasure it a lot. Are we on item 13? I don't know. 14? 13? This, which is another item that people might think is ridiculous or horrific or anything else, he means a lot to me. This is Mr. Nutcracker. I have a mini collection of nutcrackers going now as well, which started by an accident. I have 3, so that's not much of a collection, but it may grow. But this guy was custom made for me for last Christmas. My mother gave me this. I opened this present, and I almost cried with joy because this guy is, I'm a huge fan of, well, as a Russian child, I grew up with Soviet fairy tales and Soviet animated films, and they made this beautiful animated Nutcracker where they used Tchaikovsky's music, and the Nutcracker was like this. I think his colors were a little different. He was more ornate because he was animated, and he was so beautiful, and I loved him so, so much. Look, even his back is painted. He's got a little ponytail, and his mouth actually moves. But I loved that cartoon. I watched it so much, and I opened the present, and my mum said that he was actually sent from Russia, custom made to order. She had it made just for me from this cartoon, which is very popular in Russia. And he's beautiful, and I love him so much, and it was one of the best presents I've ever received. This beautiful candle holder. This is one of my treasured items as well, I think. He is so lovely. He's very old and a bit broken. I found him at a vintage shop. This beautiful little, I don't know, cherub or angel or just boy. He's lovely. I think he's beautiful. He holds candles for me on my bookshelf. I really like gold things, and I love beautiful ornate things, and I love trinkets on my bookshelf as well. These are ostrich feathers. I have put them in my hair for kind of vintage dress-up events. Last I put them in my hair for a speakeasy 1920s night during the burlesque festival, and don't worry, they were, you know, I got them from an ostrich that lives in a hotel nearby, and they have a walking area, and they fell out near the gate, and I just picked them up with my brother. So don't worry, I didn't like steal them and pick them off the ostrich or anything like that. This little swan that I made this year or last year, I'm not too sure. He's made out of clay, and he's got a little scarf and a little crown. Isn't he cute? I really like animals wearing crowns and hats. That's that. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know what it is. I'm aware some people really like, you know, animals in clothes, I guess. But yeah, I love animals with little crowns and hats. I was inspired by an artist I found online who had similar looking sween, I like to call them. Swan. Because swans doesn't sound right. Sween sounds correct. One swan, three sween. No? Just me? Okay. The English student, by the way. Item 18. It is one of my treasured possessions. I hope someone knows this cartoon. It is Thumbelina, Don Bluth's Thumbelina. And over here is Don Bluth's signature. This is one of my all-time favorite cartoons ever. And this cartoon was created by Don Bluth, who made Land Before Time and All Dogs Go to Heaven, and Thumbelina, and The Legend of Nim. Oh god, so many other things. Just, he's my favorite, like, English animator. He used to work with Disney, but he had too much of an individual style, and he decided to do his own thing. And thank God he did, because he created absolute magic. But, crazy story, why I own this. This signature over here is Margaret McKenna. And this is one of my best friend's mother. This is the mother of one of my best friends, let me rephrase that. Because it turns out, when I met one of my bestest friends in university 3 years ago, we found out eventually that I was obsessed with Thumbelina and Don Bluth, and her mother's an animator, and her mother worked with Don Bluth when their company was in Ireland, and she worked on these cartoons or animated films that I grew up on and love so much wholeheartedly still. Imagine finding that out, that one of your best friend's parents animated these cartoons that you love so much. And so they had these, I should know what they're called, but I can't remember. These are actually two plastic sheets put together that they drew on, and I put them together to put them into one frame because they're signed by Dawn and her mum. and I framed it because it's going to hang in my own home one day because I have no space in my room right now. And unfortunately, the two different plastic sheets they both didn't fit here, and the two signatures were on the two different sheets, and I wanted to put them all in one on the one background, and so I had to kind of like move the plastic sheets a little bit, and if you can see, it looks like the beetle is staring at her breasts. So that was unintentional, and I didn't want it to happen. To be fair, he is a bit of a creep, so yeah, but I didn't want that to happen, but just so you know. But yeah, this is one of my treasured possessions, and I am obsessed with Don Bluth's animated films. I love him, and I love the art that he has made. And this is also one of the most incredible presents in my short life that I have received. Thank you, Sarah, and Sarah's mother. This may look like a book, but oh no, do not be deceived. It is no book. It opens up, and it is a secret storage container unit thing. It is where I keep my theater tickets. So this was the last one the shop had as well, and it's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which is my favorite book. So I thought that was like fate, you know, because I'm one of those nerds who believes in fate. But this is, yeah, where I keep my theater tickets. I want to be a theater maker, and I have attended theater my entire life, and I love going to the theater. I have a whole ritual. I always wear heels and my dress or some other kind of fancier attire. I like to make it a whole thing because I like it to be my own ritual, that keeping up that tradition that people used to wear their best to the theater, just like you would wear your best to church. That was the thing. You'd wear your best clothes to church and to the theater. You know, it used to be, and you go even further back, it used to always be the place where you go to see and to be seen. And I still kind of, I don't know, I have this thing. I really like that. I want to be seen. Also, I want the actors, even if they don't see me, which they don't most of the time, I want them to know that I went through almost the same effort of getting ready as they did to come there to say, I am here, I am also in costume. To me, that's important. That's my ritual. I never go underdressed to theater. It's nothing to do with the ego and nothing to do with, status or showing it or anything like that. I just personally I love to dress up, and I love to do that. I respect that they got dressed up and they got ready for us to come and see them, so I did the same. So yeah, this is where I put all my tickets after each show. What I'm greatly upset in nowadays is that you never receive like proper tickets like this anymore. A few theaters, like the Civic Theatre in Tala in Dublin here, always give you little tickets like this. I'm upset that places don't do proper tickets anymore. It's mostly just, a printed ticket that you have bought from the ticket sellers or the venue, and they email it to you and you just print that out. And it's so depressing because I can't put them in my collection and have them forever. I mean, you can, but I try and keep just theater tickets in here, theater performances or anything like that, a festival. That's the end of this video. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope it didn't come off as kind of materialistic or anything like that. I wasn't intending on that. I genuinely just wanted the tiniest way to make one of those get to know me videos a little more different, a little more interesting, by showing you, treasured possessions and things that I really love in my room that can kind of tell you a little bit about me. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope to see you next time. So, bye!